5 ways to make a meaningful connection with just about anyone. It's possible to connect in a significant way if you do certain things. This can help you make a connection with a customer, a neighbor, a coworker, or somebody you want a deeper relationship with. It guarantees effective communication and both parties are interested in each other in some way. This can help you advance your career. It makes getting along with your neighbors so much easier. Suddenly your children start doing their chores without you asking them. If you want to connect with someone in a way that makes the relationship more beneficial for both of you, just do these 5 things. 1. Ask their opinion. People love giving their opinion. Ask them what they think. Talk about a hot topic or something that's currently in the news. Avoid religion and politics and be careful when talking sports. People remember you when you ask them what their thoughts are on a subject. It shows you value their opinion. Think about what they say. If you can find some points where you agree with them, tell them you understand their opinion and why. If you differ with them, nod your head and say that you can see how they came to that conclusion. Then change the subject. 2. Use their name, but don't overdo it. It's said that the sweetest sound to any person is that person's name. If you want to kill a relationship before you get started, forget someone's name. One of the proven practices for remembering someone's name is to repeat it immediately after you hear it and look the person in the face. Another way to remember someone's name is to link one of their characteristics in your memory. If you meet Jim and he loves fishing, his name becomes Jim Fishing or Fishing Jim in your mind. Use their name frequently in conversations, but don't overdo it or you'll sound disingenuous. 3. Notice them. What are they wearing? Do they have a topic they talk about frequently? Do they mention their children often? Developing a deep connection with someone means you're really caring about who they are. You've got to notice them. After you recognize certain characteristics or tendencies about someone, then you want to do this. 4. Reconnect. Don't wait for fate to put you two together again. It doesn't matter who you're trying to connect with. Go out of your way to reconnect with them frequently. They'll see that you really do care about the relationship. 5. Listen and remember. If you do all the talking, how do you get to know someone? Listen, truly listen when they talk. Then remember what they say and bring it up in conversation later. This shows that you're making an effort to get to know them. Forming more meaningful connections is possible. You first have to care about the viewpoints and opinions of the other person. Then use these tips to connect on more than the surface level. Connecting with someone might mean taking the first step. Be the first one to reach out. If you want to get to know someone in a meaningful way, sometimes you need to be the one to take the first step. After reading that, your heart might be in your throat. You envision terrible things happening. No way are you going to be the first person to attempt to make a relationship richer or deeper. We understand that can be rough. The ceaseless inner voice has a way of always painting the worst possible picture, and that's probably what's happening right now. Nobody likes rejection. The most successful salespeople will tell you that every no leads them closer to a sale. That having been said, they would rather hear a yes than a no because they're people that can prefer acceptance, like you. When you put yourself out there and try to connect with someone, rejection is always a possibility. Obsessing on possible rejection can keep you from reaching out. How many people have wanted to get to know you better, but were scared to make the first move? A coworker may really respect how you carry yourself on the job. They would like to get to know you better so you can help them handle customers in the same way. Yet they never put themselves out there, asking you to join them for lunch or just to have a short conversation. This might have happened to you before. You met someone who intrigued or impacted you in some way. They were interesting. You immediately thought it would be nice to know more about them. For whatever reason, you didn't have the courage to get a conversation started. The more you worry about your vulnerability, the harder it becomes to reach out and take the first step. Do what Nike says. If you're thinking about reaching out to someone that you don't know very well, go ahead and take the plunge. Don't second-guess yourself. Stop overthinking things. Follow the advice of the multinational sports apparel and equipment manufacturer Nike. Just do it. That identifiable slogan makes sense in this situation. Just take the first step. Move ahead and say hello. Reach out and connect. If you get stonewalled or receive a cold response, that's okay. Give yourself kudos for taking the first step and trying to connect on a deeper level. The more you do this, the more you'll find yourself being received warmly and forming more meaningful connections. Develop deeper connections and you can live longer. Robert Waldinger is like many of us. He wants to live a long and healthy life, and isn't that just normal? In his endeavor to learn more about improving human longevity and adding healthy years to a person's life, he discovered that spending too much time alone can be very unhealthy. Loneliness kills. It's as negatively powerful as smoking or alcoholism. That's what psychoanalyst and psychiatrist Waldinger has to say about the effect of loneliness on how long you live. Being a loner might work for the select few, but it's not meant for most of us. Develop deeper connections with more people and you'll probably add years to the end of your life. Take time to get to know the people in your life better, and you're rewarded with a longer lifespan. Robert Waldinger is a professor of psychiatry at Harvard Medical School. He's the lead director of the Harvard Study of Adult Development. That ongoing study covers more than 80 years currently and is the longest existing study on mental and physical adult health. Close relationships more than money or fame are what keep people happy throughout their lives. Those ties protect people from life's discontents, help to delay mental and physical decline, and are better predictors of long and happy lives than social class, IQ, or even genes. That quote comes to us from Harvard Gazette writer and reporter Liz Mineo, referring to the Harvard study findings. Develop more meaningful connections and you can live longer. Not only do you extend your lifespan, but you add healthy and happy years to your life. Unhappiness creates stress, and stress can kill you. You are hardwired for happiness. Your chemical makeup and physiological composition make you seek out experiences that are positive. When you're unhappy, you produce chemicals and hormones which put a physical and mental stress toll on your body. These include cortisol, which is nicknamed the stress hormone, chronic stress, which is often present with people who don't have many deep relationships with others, is seen as both a cause and symptom of many of the leading causes of death. Work to develop deeper connections with your loved ones. Spend time with them. Let them know what they mean to you. Work on these relationships. Don't just assume that they'll always be healthy. The more true connections you create and maintain with others, the better chance you have at living a long, happy, and healthy life. Do you want more meaningful relationships? Practice with strangers. What do you consider a meaningful relationship? How do you make a really strong connection with someone? To answer those questions, look at your own life. Who are the people that you feel really know who you are? Are there people that really get you and understand what makes you tick? Look at those relationships. How are they formed? What do you and the other person do to maintain that deep connection? You probably respect each other in some way. You wouldn't mind going out of your way to help them. You're concerned about their needs and opinions as well as your own. It's a good bet that when you connect with someone in a meaningful way, you have important conversations. You don't just talk about the weather and how prices have gone up on everything. The topics of your conversations have some weight. They're important to both of you. Now take all of this information and use it when you talk to a total stranger. Head to the grocery store. Shopping for groceries is just one example of an activity that gives you an opportunity to test your socializing skills. You can do this anytime you're out in public. At the grocery store, politely ask someone about an item in their cart. If you see someone looking over the same items that you are, mention why you like them. Ask them what they think or what their favorite brand is. The idea is to get them talking about what's on their mind, what their opinion is rather than yours. Look them in the eye. Use open body posture and nod while they're talking. Repeat what they've said in a different way and acknowledge their opinion. Thank them for chatting with you and move on. You can do this many ways in different situations. The idea is to get very comfortable talking to anyone. You learn that the best conversations come up when you focus on the other person and not yourself. People might really open up to you, even those who you've never met and may never see you again. What are they wearing? Recognize a person's clothes, jewelry, or hairstyle, and you have a captive audience. Make sure you do this in a positive way. A wild and comical hairstyle might not have been created intentionally. People like expressing themselves through their clothing. They like to show off jewelry or their new hairstyle. Noticing these and other personal characteristics gives you the chance to connect with someone in a positive way. Practice doing this with strangers and it'll become second nature with people that you want to develop a meaningful connection with. Healthy relationships require an honest self-appraisal. You deserve to have healthy and happy relationships. We all do. Sometimes, though, we feel as if our connections with others aren't as good as they could be. Do you feel this way? If so, that's a good thing. It means you value strong and fulfilling relationships with others. You want to connect on a deeper level with people in your life. To make that happen, pay attention to what you're saying without saying anything. What are your body, posture, and gestures saying? We say a lot through our posture. There are nonverbal cues that tell people what we really think about them or about what they're saying. Some people will tell you that your body, your posture, and gestures, as well as your facial expressions, speak more about your true emotions and intentions than when you open your mouth and talk. When you think about it, doesn't it make sense? A person can say anything. What's spoken doesn't have to line up with a person's true feelings. A statement of any kind can be made. If what's said isn't relevant to a conversation or experience, look to the person's posture and physical gestures. In poker, these are called tells, and they tell us what's actually going on in someone's mind. They are often honest communicators because most people don't even realize they're happening. They occur unconsciously. For instance, if your hands and arms are open by your sides, you sit up straight and face someone, you're very open to that person. Leaning back and crossing your arms over your chest subconsciously tells that person you're shutting down. You don't trust them and want no part of an interaction. Pay attention to your nonverbal voice. Forming deeper connections means opening up emotionally and physically. It can be scary to get to know someone better. You might naturally have some trepidation or concerns. Benefiting from healthier, fuller relationships isn't going to happen if you allow your body posture and your gestures to broadcast the message that you're not receptive. When you mimic a person's physical gestures and posture, that's unconsciously received as something positive. Smile when they do. Really listen while they're talking. Express an interest in what they're saying. Do more listening than talking and be aware of your nonverbal communication. Display comfort, openness, and receptivity with your facial expressions and gestures. You'll have a better chance at connecting with that person on a deep and meaningful level. If you want more meaningful relationships, schedule them. Do you have a day planner? Do you have a calendar or schedule where you plan out your activities? A lot of people plan their careers. They have a virtual or physical planner where they keep track of their work commitments. They take their job seriously and know that if they schedule their professional life, they can be more successful than if they just take it as it comes. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't do that with their personal lives. That's too bad. We've known for a long time that the human brain loves to be given marching orders. It was designed to respond favorably to order and habitual behavior. This means that if you want more deeper connections, you should be scheduling the experiences that build and maintain them. Who do you want a more meaningful relationship with? It's been proven that deep relationships make you less likely to develop disease or become sick. Your mind, body, and emotions benefit. The more people you truly understand on a deep level and connect with in a meaningful way, the happier and healthier you're going to be. This means that when you connect with someone in a big way, both of you get a significant boost to your well-being. Who wouldn't like that in their lives? To experience all these wonderful benefits of a healthy social life, ask yourself who you can connect with on a deeper level. Once you have that person in mind, sit down and ask yourself some questions. What do they like to do? What values are important to them? Do they like traveling or knitting or reading? What vices do they have that they wish they could defeat? What are their big goals? If you don't know the answers to these questions, or at least have some general idea of their response, what can you do to discover those answers? In many cases, it doesn't make sense to come right out and ask big questions like this. What you can do is spend more time with that person in experiences and activities that they enjoy. This helps you indirectly learn that information. Schedule time for those activities. Talk a lot and listen. Remember your ultimate goal, to get to know the person better. Be flexible and understand that a deep connection might mean a relationship with someone that's unlike you in a lot of ways. Opposites often attract. Keep these things in mind and schedule the time and emotional energy required to develop a deep and meaningful relationship. Offer a time and environment that's comfortable to them, be yourself, and do this regularly to form a strong, healthy connection. Improve your emotional intelligence for healthier relationships. The past few decades have seen us come to an understanding about IQ that might be eye-opening to some. It used to be a common belief that a person's IQ would dictate their success in life. It seemed to make sense. A smart person might have more knowledge about the world. This could keep that person from engaging in behaviors that are unsafe or dangerous, whereas someone with less intelligence or knowledge might not know to act in the same way. A higher IQ might mean more opportunities for success, but it turns out that's not necessarily so. We now know that a person's mental intelligence is not nearly as important as emotional intelligence where success is concerned. This is because success is not very frequently experienced in a vacuum. You need other people to help you succeed, whether it be a personal or professional matter. Very few people have created a healthy, happy, and successful life without the help of others. That means healthy relationships are a must if you want to create the life you desire. It's almost impossible to live your best life without meaningful, deep relationships. As a matter of fact, emotional intelligence proves to be more powerful than IQ at succeeding at just about anything. 90% of high performers have a high EQ. That's a pretty powerful statement. It's based on research conducted by Travis Bradbury and Gene Greaves. They report their research in the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Maybe just as impactful is the following information they discovered. Roughly 80% of low achievers had a low level of emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence anyway? It's the ability to evaluate emotions in oneself and in others. The emotionally intelligent person can perceive and control or influence their own emotions and the emotions of other people. It's understanding that others may have different emotions, and that's okay. The knowledge of a person's emotional state at any given time and those of other people can create a desirable outcome in personal and professional experiences. Emotional intelligence is not stagnant. If you have a tough time reading emotions or feeling empathetic and using that knowledge so both you and someone else have positive experiences, don't worry. EQ is flexible. You can grow your emotional intelligence. Start thinking about the feelings of others while also reviewing yours. Then imagine how you can use that knowledge to create a win-win situation for both of you. The more you do this, the more you develop your emotional intelligence. That means forming deeper connections, healthier relationships, and achieving more of the things that are important to you. Meaningful connections come from finding a common ground. If you struggle to connect on a deep level with people, maybe you're trying to sell veganism to a meat lover. There's no common ground. You might be the most devoted and devout vegan in all human history. There's someone you really want to get to know on a deeper level, but they happen to love eating cheeseburgers, steaks, pork, and poultry products. Save yourself a lot of hard work and frustration because your best efforts are probably going to be in vain in that example. The two of you might have a lot in common. That won't matter if veganism is a cornerstone belief in your value system and the other person won't give up eating meat and other animal-based products for all the money in the world. Occasionally you'll find two people that are polar opposites and that have a worthwhile relationship. They say that opposites attract. This is certainly true on some occasions. Most of the time, though, you're going to find it a lot easier to connect on a meaningful level with someone if you have a lot in common with that person. Use Google and Facebook to find like-minded individuals. If you find it difficult to locate people with your interests, let Big G do all the work. Run a Google search for vegan groups in your city or something similar. Browse Facebook groups that talk about veganism and vegetarianism. Head over to meetup.com. The website helps you find meetings, parties, and other get-togethers in your area that are full of people that share your interests. You can search online for Your Interest plus forums. Browse the results you get when you look for Your Interest plus blogs. Check out the top results and look through the comments on the blog posts. Get involved in the conversations, and you can find other people who are passionate about the same things you love. A shared interest makes connecting easier. This just makes sense. Two people can meet and find out they get along really well. Then they discover they're both passionate fans of rival sports teams. That in some cases is the end of the relationship right there. Talking with someone about a topic you both really enjoy gives you a chance at forming a deep connection. It makes developing meaningful relationships easier. Use the tips we shared above to find others just like yourself. That can lead to more meaningful connections and fulfilling lifelong relationships. Meaningful relationships are major health boosters. You feel good when you form deep connections with people. That's probably not news to you. From a very young age, you've had people in your life that you feel you knew very well, and you miss them when they aren't around. You enjoy the time you get to spend around people you care about. When those people in return care about and support you, you have the basis for a meaningful relationship. The same is true if you're naturally outgoing or prefer quality time alone. Even introverted people who recharge their internal batteries by spending time by themselves benefit from strong connections with others. They may have a smaller social circle than most, but they recognize the need for deep and lasting connections. Ask an introvert, an extrovert, or those of us who are somewhere in between those two extremes. You'll inevitably find that the majority of people are happier and healthier when they form and maintain fulfilling and healthy relationships with others. Psychologists stress the importance of positive interpersonal relationships. As it turns out, making more meaningful connections might be the healthiest thing you can do. Researchers show that strong relationships can boost your health mentally, physically, and emotionally. psychologists Brooke Feeney and Nancy Collins reported their research on social acceptance in the Personality and Social Psychology Review Journal. Their study shows that meaningful relationships promote health and well-being in the following important areas: a feeling of purpose in life, the ability to pursue and achieve goals, psychological well-being, regarding oneself positively, better self-esteem, mental health and the absence of brain-related disorders and diseases, social well-being, expecting positive results, physical activity, a healthy body weight, better overall health than expected for their age, gender, and other considerations. More self-esteem and a healthy self-image lead to better self-care. That means the person with several meaningful relationships takes care of himself. This leads to a longer lifespan and less of a chance of becoming sick or giving in to disease. So not only do meaningful connections with others make you feel better, they actually improve your overall health and well-being in a number of ways. Take time to form connections. Be a good friend and you'll attract good friends. Show the people that are important to you that they matter and both your health and theirs can improve. You can't make meaningful connections without honesty. Do you feel like you have a lot of people in your life that you don't really know? You have lots of acquaintances but very few close friends. Making more meaningful connections raises your quality of life. You really get to know what makes people tick, and that makes you want to open up to them as well. This makes you look forward to interacting with people. Connecting in an important way with others gives you feelings of understanding, fulfillment, and belonging. People that connect deeply with others experience less stress. This is because they're wondering what's going on in the heads of the people in their life. They have a good idea of what those people are thinking and feeling. Less stress is a beautiful dream anyone would enjoy. That means a longer lifespan, less sickness and disease, and less anxiety and depression. To turn that dream into reality, learn to connect in a meaningful way. Don't just get to know people in your life on the surface level. Dig deep down. Ask deep questions and pay attention when they're talking. Pay them compliments that come from a genuine place of interest. And by all means, be honest. Honesty won't connect you with everyone. When you talk about how you truly feel and the things that really matter to you, you're not going to be warmly received by everyone. We all have differences of opinion. What's important to you may or may not be important to the person you're trying to connect with. So understand that this is not a guaranteed way to connect with others. However, sometimes a meaningful connection is made even when your honesty doesn't line up with the experience of the other person. They might respect you for being honest rather than just saying what you think they want to hear. When someone else has views that align with what you talk about, a real connection is possible. You're sharing authentic, personal experiences. You're not making up stories just to impress someone. You're being honest about yourself and your life. If the person you're talking to can identify with what you're saying, they feel like they relate to you in an important way. Shoot for quality over quantity. Imagine that you have deep, meaningful connections with 5 or 6 good friends. That's always going to be better than having shallow, meaningless relationships with several dozen acquaintances. Aim for quality over quantity when forming relationships. Those quality connections can't last if you don't respect other people by hiding who you honestly are.